Okay, we're just testing you. Make sure that you're there.
I got you.
Hey. Yeah, we can hear you. My name is Andy Esquivel, and John Steer is on the phone with us. John, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You could beep too. You could beep if you want. Jake House is with us. He hasn't been with us for 2 years, but he's back out. John Steer is with us here. And I'm doing this for the media. I'm starting the story from the day that we got jumped in Bountiful, Utah. And we were jumped by 12 people. We didn't just run from Bountiful, Utah, okay? We were jumped by 12 people, and we were told that 2 of them were related to related to police officers. So it made us nervous. John, how long was it? Just I need to be remember. Can you remind me when it was that we left after the fight? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
No, after that, I mean, we were there for a good little while after. I mean, we had the restaurant still open and all of that, and then.
Just give me weeks, please. 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
A month later.
A month later, okay. The only reason why I'm asking this is I don't want people to think that we just left the next day. We left 2 weeks to a month later because we wanted to know if the prosecutor was going to arrest anybody. I mean, I'm the one that called the police, and they tried to arrest me. So that's where we're going to start, is from there, and I'll head forward. The people that come in, like Jake House, was familiar with everything back then, but he got lost in the whole scam process that Daryl Acumen manipulated. Not just Daryl Acumen, Ryan Butcher also. The rest of them, Kyle and them, were pretty sure that they were just manipulated. But Jake, I want to start with him first because he was working at the restaurant. He wasn't there when we got jumped. What happened was, here's the story. Me, John, and my cousin was doing security because we already had some people that were a little bit upset. So we got a call saying that our computers were finished at Heroes Computers, and if we could run down and pick them up. It was about 11:30 at night, but they stood open till 2 in the morning all the time, right, John? They always stood open till 2 or 3 in the morning. When we arrived there, a big, tall guy, I think John might know his name. I'm not going to go into names because this isn't about court right now. We are going to court, and we will be taking this down. I promise you that. But with these guys, we're not going to name names, but a guy got up, locked the door on us. We all walked in, and 12 to 15 men jumped out of, everywhere. I guess they thought we were going to submit, but no. If I haven't submitted now, well, it means we never submit. But we told them that we were going to call the cops. They basically started jumping us. I worked my way out the door because I was always taught making your way to a doorway when more than one person's trying to fight you, because only one can come out at a time. And it worked because them guys didn't want to walk out no more. I dialed 911. I called the police. It took them about 15 minutes to get there. And we think that was purposely, but as I said, we're going to save that for court because it was. And the prosecutor, he's the main one that did it. I had met the prosecutor maybe a month before that, and he got kind of hater status on me because of what I owned at the time. So I'll leave that at that. We'll move forward, and the fight was over the next day. I mean, after the fight, John went to the emergency room. My cousin went to the emergency room, but Bountiful wouldn't see him because he didn't have no insurance. I didn't need the emergency room because I called 911 and basically made it out of there okay. From that point, as we said, we waited somewhere from 2 to 4 weeks to see if the prosecutor was going to do anything. He didn't start doing anything until after we left. And John, do you remember your lawyer's name?
First name was
Craig. He hired Craig from Dexter and Dexter. We have the evidence that we will be shooting in somehow so you guys can see, but he hired them, and basically they just dumped the case and it disappeared. That will come up too. So after that, we had a good talk, me and John, and I said we had to protect everybody. We moved the restaurant literally to Denver City. Okay, that's why we left, not because we ran like Daryl says. It never was that. Once we got to Denver City, I had already been up here doing promotions, and we were getting the DMV, trying to work with our X-Tag. Once we got to Denver, I had Shar set up a meeting with Steve Klemark, and he's to my left right now. And when we got the meeting set up, I basically told Steve what happened in Utah. He couldn't believe it. I showed him the pictures, and then he asked if anybody got arrested, and I said no, they didn't. So after that, I basically told him I didn't want to go back. Jake House, from there, I want you to jump from me to him because we leave him at that time, and I want you to hear in his words why really we didn't see him no more and stuff, because that's for him to say, not me.
Well, I guess basically when you guys had taken off,
Oh, I forgot you knew Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
Oh, Ryan, I'm sorry, guys. John's the one that reminded me of this. Ryan, the reason why Ryan was able to invest into the company in June of 2009, okay, is because he came to the restaurant and told us he had a marketing degree. And when he said he had a marketing degree, we were hurting for money, so that's why we let him in. I guess we should tell the story.
Yeah.
We let him in, and basically what happened is he came in and brought in his brother, trying to sell us a new website for $20,000, and then he went and got Chad for a commercial, trying to sell us a commercial that we never even got samples of for $5,000. That's when me and John started getting hip. This guy's not helping us marketing-wise. And you guys, the reason why I believed he was a marketer is because he had our meeting at a gym in Layton called, I can't even remember what it's called, Performex. And we met in a room where he pretended it was his chambers,
office,
his office, like a big wood. He's the scam, is what I'm trying to get at. I didn't know Jake was there in the restaurant when Ryan told us he had a marketing degree. He did not have a marketing degree. Ryan came in, and basically what he wanted to do is, because of the $5,000 he borrowed from his father-in-law, he wanted to make extra money on the video and the commercial to get his money out and leave all of our money still sitting in. At that time, I was invested about $150,000 compared to Ryan's provable in my bank account. I was invested, not other people. Me and my family were invested $150,000 to $180,000. And as I said, that's provable compared to his $5,000. So we have a video of this where it shows it all pan out. Ryan, a month later, it was a month and 1 week later, came to me and said if I wasn't going to take the deal that we had got from some guy named Brian in Bountiful, that basically he was going to start a blog called X Out Scams. And I kid you not, he started X Out Scams a month later, June of 09. In June of 09, our promissory notes weren't even due till December 31st of 09. Okay, now that we got that done, and you guys know what a real scam is, and I didn't know Jake was there when he told us all this. So go ahead, Jake, you can finish. Add anything you want into it.
Jeez, you basically went over everything.
Perfect.
Ryan came in, you know, as the pretty boy guy. You know, thought he had it all laid out.
Want to do all the acting?
Yeah, acting. He even came in and shot videos, basically.
Everybody's seen them.
You know, without anybody's consent, just came in and started filming with his friends and stuff like that, and you know, went off with it.
Those videos too.
You do?
You do.
That's John. John's talking, and he's on a conference call from Texas.
Somebody else.
Excuse me, John, you didn't buzz in.
Hey, John, remember to buzz in. Our cool way. We figured out a cool way. Wiser technology. Do it, John. When we can't hear you, do it. Do it. That's John, guys. Whenever he wants to talk, that's John. Okay? Remember, this isn't the documentary. Oh. They just were nice enough to come and film this for me. Sorry, go ahead. You buzzed in. My bad. Go ahead. You can talk now. You don't want to talk. Yeah.
Basically, it was Ryan, it was Kyle, and it was somebody else. I'm trying to remember who. I think I still have the actual.
It was Logan. It was Logan. It was Logan.
It was Logan.
Okay, let me take over. We got it. We're shooting this. The press wants it like in 15 to 30 minutes. Logan comes in, and basically, what happened to Logan is his father came to the restaurant and asked me if I could pay Logan back because he used his LDS money. And Kyle called me asking if we could return. If anybody got their money back first, it should be Logan. And that's why I agreed and that's why Logan got paid back by Shar Jenkins in September of 2009.
What he means by LDS money is the money that was reserved for the Mormon Church of the Latter-day Saints for his mission.
Yeah, sorry. So that we returned it. That's why we returned him first, because we wanted to do the moral thing. And from there, Ryan called and he was like, why are you guys returning? You understand, we're at this point, we've left Utah, we're in Denver. Shar Jenkins wants to pay Logan, Ryan, Kyle, and Chris. No, not Chris at this time, because he really wasn't saying nothing until the end of the December of 2009. So literally, he was just trying to buy them out to acquire their percentage because they knew what Steve had. You guys, what you don't understand is that when we get to that point, Steve was taking over. Steve was taking over at that time, and I had to ordeal with these guys going out. So Chris had called me and asked if he was going to get paid in December, or if it was going to turn into a bigger thing and turn into a corporation where his money would be, you know, it would be hired up like kind of a stock market type of thing. And I told him I didn't know yet. but at that time, I had given him 500 stickers for his Anytime Fitness. We basically had partnered up because I wouldn't let nobody in. We had got a $50 million deal. Alan Brady in court, he was going to be here today, but he's working. In court, he'll testify to it from Jason. We did have a $50 million deal. I just didn't have to tell everybody about it. At that time, Twitter was offered $500 million, and we knew our system was it surpassed Twitter. So that's why we left it. So from there, after I talked to Chris, I told Chris that by December, we would know more because Steve was buying the company. So now, we're in Denver now. Logan, September, Logan's been paid back. You guys, Shar's not here right now because he's already done a full video explaining how he paid Logan. Logan got paid out. I got a call from Ryan and email saying, why did Logan get paid out? And we told him it's because you've been running a smear campaign since June. Now, at this time, it's already September. And so we made a deal with them, and Kyle, we got emails proving all this. Kyle told Ryan, take all the bad blogs, because Ryan put up this whole that we were a scam. He was the scam. He's the one that borrowed $5,000 from his father-in-law and then wanted it back a month later to leave us all hanging. But Kyle literally told him to take down the stuff, we would pay back Logan, and then after that, Ryan would get paid back. We paid Logan. Ryan never took nothing down. And he did it intentionally because now he started saying he wanted a buyout. He just didn't want his $5,000. So that's where Steve comes in. Me and Steve make a deal around December 15th because we're trying to do it because what you guys don't know is Karma Cause I wanted to launch in 2012, even back then, right? Even back then. I've had Karma Cause. That's my main mission is Karma Cause. So when I told Steve that I couldn't deal with these guys no more, I had a bald spot, guys, from stress. We recorded everything. Okay, I went to Steve and I said, I can't take this no more. These guys are just trying to destroy the company. Let's make a deal. You know, I want to start my Budweiser drink, and my Budweiser drink is going to save, you know, a lot of responsibility for drinkers. He said he found it admirable, and at the same time, I trusted Steve because there was a fatal flaw in the system of XTAG, and he knew about it. But he told me that he promised me that he would never launch it without it being fixed. So that's why Steve came. So everybody else, Andrew Couch, the guys from Platester, all they told me is we don't care. We want the money. That's why they took it to Bomb. They didn't tell Mitch Thrower about the fatality. At the end of this, if you guys want to listen to it, I'll tell you so that you can understand it. But now I'm going to hand it over to Steve because now I'm in Denver. It's December. We're trying to ramble this out. Steve gave me a deal and said, I'll give you $100,000 within so many months because I have these contractors I can do. He goes, and I'll get these guys bought out. Don't worry about it. He goes, and then after that, I'll give you a commission. You guys, MySpace sold $485 million, okay? The guy they sold it to, bought it from, sold it to them for 2.5. I consider my intelligent that man, 2.5. So I said, give me 2.5. Steve's a businessman. He said, I'll give you 2.4. So I told him, I go, that's when you sell it. You got to understand, Steve was taking it from my hands to go sell it to a big corporation. That's where we made the deal. If he got $500 million, all I got was $2.4 million out of it. And then I listened to Kyle and Lad Quayle. That's what happened. I told them I was going to sell to Steve. They told me they had, and we have records to all this, that they had a meeting with John Richards in Utah, but they could only set it up until January 15th or around there. He's worth $700 million. They sent me a confirmation showing me how much he owns UtahAngels.com, something like that. And they talked me into it. I told Steve I was going to go to Utah to meet him. I asked him if he would please go with me. Steve was very upset. He says, I already got my deal on the roll. If you come back and you don't get a deal over there, I'm a businessman, it might be different. I decided to listen to Kyle, and Kyle told me that Chris wouldn't be mad about him not being paid out by December 31st. The other 6 people that were involved, they didn't care, they wanted the big money. So I took off over to Utah to meet John Richards, and basically, you guys can watch that because I filmed that also, but right now I don't want to bring none of these men in because they're all innocent men of everything. John Richards, Mitch Thrower, and I think when they watch this video and see this, they're going to be a little bit upset. So I don't really want to say anything on their end until court happens. So here's Steve for you guys. Now I do my movie camera.
Let's go. So thank you, Andy. I met Andy, like you said, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And when I met him, all of these great and wonderful ideas were just spewing forth from him, and I was definitely extremely interested in getting involved in the company. he was also very upfront with me at the beginning about these individuals, Ryan, Kyle, Logan, Chris, and later on it became Daryl. So, as any business-orientated person would do when a company is brought from state to state, I contacted the people that had qualms with Andy to see, you know, what was wrong with them blogging that there were hundreds of investors for millions and millions of dollars, and I was like, okay, you know, how much money is owed to you guys? And in total, all three of them, it was far less than $10,000. So I was like, okay, I mean, that makes sense. There are small investors, there are large investors. Can I have some of the contact information for any one of the other investors? That never came. As time progressed, the image of spearheading a business on their part turned into, I apologize, but for lack of a better word, a divorce, where they felt that they were wronged by an individual and they would destroy this individual no matter what it took.
Yep.
And the real evidence for that came when we were doing the $2.4 mil deal. Center to that was Castleman's Venue. And we locked in a deal with Castleman's Venue, and we actually were in the process of locking in deals with, similar to this, an elementary school in Fort Collins where Erica Forney was tragically killed. Dave, a gym owner on Wadsworth and 10th, a chiropractor on Wadsworth and 80th, the Aspen Inn, multiple hotels, too much for me to mention, the New Belgium Brewery, Denver PD, Castleman's, and iSafe.org. They would literally call.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, that was
amazingly.
I guess I should have said
same
something.
size as
We worked
Castleman's.
amazingly hard
But
for iSafe.
the pattern is that what these stalker-ish mentality would spearhead anything that was connected to Andy's name. If you put Andy Esquivel in a sentence with any product or any name, they would destroy it. I tried to buy them out. Specifically, Kyle Clough, who is owed, well, not even owed, who invested $4,000, kind of. I offered to pay back and would not take anything less than $30,000 after spearheading the company.
And these are the, I'm sorry, these are the same guys. These are the same three guys today that press these charges, saying that they can't get their investment money back, and they don't even want insurance. You guys are going to learn that these, it's not, sorry, go ahead, dude. Just
the person spearheading it all, Daryl Acumen, is not even owed any money. So that's why I think that other than a rational business out, we didn't have any choice. They would take no money back, they would not stop logging, and they would not stop filing frivolous charges, doing slander and libel. But as hopefully you know, those charges are very hard to stick, especially when they're race or religiously motivated, and that's all I'll say about that. But the main point is where I'm going is that's where all the deals fell apart, was that Castleman's, when they started calling, and when Andy went to Utah to speak to John Richards against my advice. That's when I realized that these people would not play fair. So I said, Andy, I'm sorry, man, I'm not giving you $2.4 million, but we can work another deal. The details of that deal are between Andy and I. However, what I will make public is that that deal was for $100,000. Why was it for $100,000? Because that would actually level out every one of the individuals that feel like they've been wronged and not to give them any more money than they deserve, which is what they originally invested, plus 12% interest. Not a penny more, not a penny less. 3 people that shouldn't have been allowed to invest in the company anyway, but Andy saw some good in them. Let him in. I am not about that anymore. We don't do that anymore, and this is the results. We're finally about to fix it 2 years later. It was a 2-year-long mistake.
I've never taken no more investors. The last investor that we took was Shar Jenkins, and he wrote the check straight to Logan Law so that way he could go on his mission, his LDS mission. There is no investors in Wiser Technology. He didn't give me no $100,000, $70,000, $5,000, I mean $50,000. That's all lies brought up by Daryl. Daryl already started seeing that things were coming back on him. So for 2 years, literally this is what Steve told me, I remember. It was in January. I go, I don't know what to do. They just ruined your deal with Castleman's. They're ruining everything. How would they ever get paid back? It's not that they wanted to be paid back. They wanted to kill this company because they didn't want me to become who I was going to become, and they weren't the owners. It's too bad. They weren't. They couldn't tell me what to do. I owned 75% or 80% of the company at that time. So it was my decision whether I was brown or white. And the reason why I say that is because there is a lot of racism here. You guys will see emails from Chris, okay? I'm going out. It's over. I'm done. They've hurt so many people. We invented, as a company, we invented a helmet for Erica's mother that felt so guilty. I never got to talk to her, but we did get to speak to Erica's principal, right? Me and you, teacher. We drove over there and had them so psyched about our app that was basically off of a snowboard app. We invented this at the chiropractor's office. We're sitting there. I'm looking at my snowboard app. Sorry, John, are you still on there? I'm looking at my snowboard app, and I'm going... I call him and he's sitting in my chiropractor room with me, remember that? And I'm like, dude, if we make it so that it's just like when you're going down 20 miles an hour down a hill, if we could justify it so that when your car starts going 10 miles an hour, all your children's phones locked down, no more texting, no more calling. It was huge. What did we do with it? Did we charge for it? We gave it away. We told them they could have it for free. And then Daryl and Ryan started calling the school because we publicized it on the front page of Wiser Technology. They started calling the school and saying that Steve was a scam. At this time, Steve lost it, said he's like, I don't want to do nothing no more. We're just going to have to wait for court. He took a job working for Halo because he knew that we were just going to have to wait. And then Steve gave me a little surprise. He's like, you know, do you really want your kids to be... He knew that I was all about wanting my kids to be safe on the internet. That's the main thing. I got 2 twins. That's the main thing. And he was like, if you just stop blogging with these guys, I was fighting back because I'm trying to save my company. I never blogged against Party Utah because there is no threat in Party Utah. There is not. I don't mean to be rude, but there's not. That's why Daryl blogs on everything of us. Helmet, car cover. This is Daryl. Let me give you guys an example. This is a phone, right? I just invented a little quick ring piece that'll keep the phone in my hand and go back and forth. Daryl, now that we put it on the internet, he'll say, hey, call HTC because they just stole their idea. They're using their phone and we're called Wiser Technology, Daryl. I take something you make like Party Utah and I make it bump.com. See, I take something that bump.com makes and say, you know what? I got to warn you guys, but Andrew Couch and them, he cheated you. He didn't tell you about the fatality that's going to come with your system. Steve, when he promised me he wouldn't put it out, and we didn't. It never worked. Go back in history on the internet. Everybody knows how to do it. You can't access our site because it didn't work because it's fatal. There's a fatal problem with it. And as I said, I'm going to finish with that at the end. And I know Mitch Thrower had nothing to do with it. But Mitch Thrower, here's Steve Klemark. I sent you guys an email March 4th of this year, sir. And I said, look, due to my karma, I'm not really doing nothing with Xtag anymore. But due to my karma, I don't want you to hit a wall. And I told you... Maybe the guys didn't give it to you, but I told you specifically the fatalities of the system, and I got a call back from Andy Phelps telling me that he was going to have me put in prison. And I said, let me read the email. And I said, I sent you an email saying, hey, due to the karma, you know, of my life now, I want to tell you, please call Steve Klemark that works at the Denver PD for Halo Project. Please call him. It's important. Where's how are you going to send me to prison? He's like, for extortion. For emailing you the truth? Well, you tell me. I recorded this just so that you all know, but I cannot let this out right now because we're suing these guys and that's going to come out in court. I recorded it. Shar Jenkins knows about it, and basically he goes, prove it to me. I told him, and I could hear his jaw hit the floor, literally. So all that will be taken care of, but as I said, that's the car cover. We invented in Denver, there's hail everywhere. We invented, Wiser Technology came up with an idea to just put the air pressure from your tire into the car cover. We end up going and buying a car cover from a company that came out with this glove car cover, and we modified it. Wiser Technology. We modified it so that it would keep hail damage from cars. What did Daryl and Ryan do? Oh, they stole the idea from the car cover place. Oh, they're such scams. We're not talking about the car cover, Ryan or Daryl. We're talking about the application that we added to the car cover because we are chefs of technology. It's that simple. That's how simple. You guys keep wasting your time out there and going to billionaires with all these manufactured new ideas from scratch. All you have to do is take ideas and blend them together. Car cover, Buzzweiser. Buzzweiser, it's going to stop people from driving buzz. The little kids, before you leave, will be like, Dad, don't buzz drive tonight. See, Buzzweiser taught kids how to read Budweiser. We taught kids responsibility with two frogs that come out and say, be responsible, don't buzz jive. You guys, all this has just been Daryl Acumen because we cut him out. I wish Alan Brady was here. John, I think he had to take a call or something. John, are you still there?
Yes, here, Bob.
Oh, sorry. John's on the phone with us right now. John, did I wish Alan was here, but you know this also. Didn't Daryl Acumen turn us down at first, but then come back to the club that I once was partners with and ask if he could reinvest?
Yes.
We told him no. We said we didn't need him no
We're
more.
all there.
Oh, the reason why I told him no is because he had kicked his mother out that I was trying to hire as CEO, and I had to pay on my corporate card, X-Tag Incorporated, for her room for a week because until her brother Joseph picked her up. So you guys are going to see a lot in court. You're going to see a lot. You're going to see all the evidence come out, but literally all you did for me, Daryl, is you opened my horizons to a world that I didn't know existed, and now we got Karmakaz, Buzzweiser, Car Cover, Weiser e-cig, okay? Weiser e-cig isn't fake. I have one right here. He keeps blogging online that Weiser e-cig's fake. As a matter of fact, a 14-year-old kid came out with this. This is a makeshift double barrel, so that way you can get double the vapor. See this, guys? I'm releasing this right now. I don't care about patents. Why don't I care about patents? Because patents are bull. An email is the same as a patent in my opinion. But you guys have your own opinion because lawyers need to make big money. Did I say that? I didn't mean it, but go ahead. Anything you guys want to say, but we're not fake. Weiser e-cigarette, did I forget anything?
No.
I might have forgot products. We got some products that are great. Just go to weisertechnology.com.
I just want to say that I don't want to put too much emphasis on these individuals. You heard a lot about Daryl, Ryan, Kyle, Logan. I'm not talking to any of them because they don't even exist in my world anymore. When you're a business person, you have to deal in business. So I don't want to talk to them. I want to talk to the people that are watching this from the news, the investors, the people that want to make a difference in the world.
Yes.
I don't want to lord something over someone that didn't deserve it in the first place. We're real, we're not fake, and we've proven, if nothing else, we're not going away.
Over
And-
and over again.
Thank
Over and
you.
over again. Thank you, dude.
Not
And
going
Shar
away.
Jenkins, you must understand, it wasn't just Steve that tried to buy these men out. Shar Jenkins tried to buy them all out with their money plus percentage.
My
Alan
father.
Brady, his father. Alan
My
Brady.
father even got into it.
His father was on the front of our website, guys, pointing at his Air Force Base plate, and now he's called a scam all over the place.
Air
Steve
Force,
Kumar.
13 years,
So-
NYPD, 23 years.
So you got to understand that Alan Brady went and tried to get 2 high-interest loans because he knew what these men were doing, trying to buy him out. But it wasn't about getting bought out. It was about them not having to live the rest of their life watching us as millionaires changing the world and them sitting there wondering what they didn't do right.
Amen.
Amen. Straight up. So that's all I can say. I think we've said enough for now. Alan has videos. Daryl's mother, Rebecca Dunn, I wanted to put a little bit of info in here. I really don't want to say anything on her till court
Let's
because we're split there. We're split on what's going on.
To be continued.
To be continued until court. We'll see you all in court about that. And the last thing is, here's what I wanted to say, okay? I called in 2008. I'm going to finish this out by giving you guys a secret, so media really pay attention. In 2008, I got a letter from my patent office. You'll see it highlighted if we can get it put in through editing. On July 10th, I got a letter giving me a second reminder to finish out my patent. On July 7th, I don't know what it was, but I was in Vegas and I had a dream. I had a dream in the nicest. And I got to thank some people out there that supported me. Thank you guys. I know you guys are going to be seeing this because we're sending it to Vegas. But in one of them beautiful rooms, I had a dream one night, and I woke up to the dream because I was freaked out. I pulled into a gas station, and here's the fatality of X-Tag, which is now called Bump. Only difference is Alan, John, Steve, and one more person, Shar. They all said on a table just like this in 2009, it can't be launched unless it has this new process that Steve's working on and I was working on. So when they did that, you got to understand, these guys are heroes. They're heroes. They basically said, let's not launch it, let's fix it for the safety, because they knew I had invented it for my twin kids that are 15, now they're going to be 16 this year.
Technically, we were in the process of launching it when we stopped and pulled out.
So you guys got to understand, that's in 2009. How respectful is that? Watch this. In 2008, here's a big secret. I have this dream. I pull into a gas station and I walk in and this guy starts telling me, hey, and he starts screaming at me, you just robbed me 3 days ago, don't move, I'm calling the police. And you gotta understand, I always wear a suit and a big London fog jacket, okay? So I didn't want to get too hasty. I pulled out the phone that I always hold and it has me on the news channel, KSL News channel, Fox 13 News, and I started showing him. I said, sir, I think you've got the wrong person. He starts calling the police and all of a sudden I'm looking at his monitor and no joke, it looked like me with glasses. Had a big trench jacket, had clothes on it, and the Mustang was red like my Mustang. So I sat there in the dream and I'm just like, what's going on? The police show up and they start looking at the video, and the only thing that saved me in the dream, or they would have probably took me to prison for life, is that this mole, you see this mole? The cop noticed that the guy didn't have this mole. And he started making phone calls to my lawyers, and he's like, I'm so sorry about that, but you need to understand, I'm invested to the company, me and my family at this time, like 100 grand at that time when this happened, and all of a sudden, I watch my whole system just fall. It doesn't work. I start telling myself, well, if I'm a pedophile, I can go to bump.com. I'm going to say bump because you guys released it. You shouldn't have. Andrew Couch, you shouldn't have released it. You stole it too early. I'm sorry, but you know we're going to court. Leonard Martinez, 303-623-3300. You owe me for that, Leonard. Check this. So you need to understand, I wake up in a sweat and I'm going, the system's dead. I can't use it. If I'm a pedophile, I'm going to go look for somebody in Layton City, and I'm going to look to see who looks more like me. Oh, look. Oh, and I have a car that kind of looks like him. If not, I can go steal one. Now I'm going to print out his plate. I'm going to go put it on his car. I'm going to dress up just like him, put glasses on, and I'm going to go start driving around the city. Hey, little kids, you want to get in the car? As long as kids get in the car with me, it's okay. I can get rid of them and they can't testify. But imagine when the kids start screaming, stranger danger. Who's going to get arrested now? Remember, I just copied you. I just copied everything about you. I even found a YouTube. Even Facebook and these guys are all linked in and it doesn't work. Not just pedophiles, guys, dating people. I can go set up to be just like any other person and tell a woman I'm going to meet her. Jake House. I see Jake House on bump.com. I see everything about him and I just try to mimic myself to look every which way that I can, and I go pick up this girl and she looks at me and now I take off my glass. She's not with Jake House. Bump.com. You got scammed by Andrew Couch, okay? We're not the scam. You should have, I don't think you got the email. I think Andrew Couch threw it away, but that call should have been made to Steve and you guys would see this new system that came out and it really trumps Bump. It does. And not in a disrespectful way, but I told myself I can't do it.
Kind of in a disrespectful way.
So I told myself there's no way I can proceed with this. How am I going to take more? How am I going to take more unless I know how to fix it? Well, that was the thing. We figured out how to fix it. And at that time, that's the only reason why I let Ryan in, is because Ryan said, I have a marketing degree. I can make you all this money. You don't need to go to Denver. You don't need to, because I told them that something was wrong with it too, but they don't care. They don't care about kids. They knew about Karma Cause. So guess what? Bump.com, your system don't work. You have Facebook, Twitter, and all these guys putting people's lives in danger. And all you people that are watching this now you have to be just like me. I wake up every morning checking the news to see who just died on Facebook. I'll give you a great example. If Steve's system was in Bump and it was working perfectly, this wouldn't have happened a month ago. If you guys heard the guy that shot the 22-year-old man because he was talking to an 18-year-old girl on Facebook, and then the 18-year-old girl wasn't even an 18-year-old girl, she was a 46-year-old. Digital internet DNA. It exists. I'm not going to release it. Steve won't let me, but it exists and it fixes everything. Mitch Thrower, you should have gave Steve Klemark a call. Your system.
You can still give me a call.
You call everybody. We don't give out our personal numbers no more. What happened to your email, Steve? Spam. My email spam by Kyle, Ryan, Chris. You guys will see all this in court. Spam. Our phone numbers. What happened to our phone numbers? Hit beyond belief. So you guys, 1-801-895-5585. That number's to Alan Brady, and Alan Brady says if you want to try that with him, you better think about it.
I would really think twice.
Yeah, don't harass him.
Give me a phone number.
Yeah. Oh, and then John's number is. No, listen.
You know, and then I can get a hold, and let Andy know or let Steve know,
You got. I'll give you John's number. John Steer. Remember, this is John Steer. You guys, I think you prosecutors in Utah, you're going to enjoy all this information because I'm not about wasting court time. I'm not. We should be fixing this system so people don't die today. So you guys don't have to wake up every morning and look at the TV and see who's died. I've had to do that for 2 years because of Daryl, and people have died because of Daryl, because of what he's done. I have kids that I'm going to bring up at court. I have men that shot other men. You guys, these guys have done so much harm. The helmet, we invented a helmet that's turned into a Bluetooth app that locks the helmet. You guys don't understand. Daryl has done so much damage. Daryl Acumen, okay? And I know you guys are seeing the videos out there about his herpes and stuff, but what you need to understand is that I didn't even use that against him until the very end when he started putting all my old record that had nothing to do with it. I was honest about that to everybody. And it didn't even correspond with internet. To be honest, the 6 months that I did because of that is where I learned what I learned with all the spammers and stuff that were in there. So, Daryl, just, you guys, at court will fix it, but you can call John Steer. His phone number is 1-832-248-5065.